afternoon everyone, hope you're all doing well today. Today's reading is going to be, should I let this relationship go or should I hold out for hope? You've got three piles as usual. Pile number 1 is the blue, pile number 2 is the purple, and pile number 3 is the red. So if you want to take your choice, and then we'll get going. Right then, pile number 1. I have a feeling, or my thoughts and my feelings are, without starting to read them bit by bit, it has got something to do with competition, something to do with sneaking away, something to do with being slightly unfair, but a real sort of romantic connection here. There's an air of defensiveness, but there's definitely an air of romance. There seems to be something to do with timing as well. Maybe the timing is incorrect, or you've been apart from some time. I don't know. I'm going to go through it bit by bit. I think that this relationship has got something to do with, have I just said that? Other people involved, or a group situation, and you wanting to look as if you're independent, or you have an air of independence about you, or you may not have been in a relationship for a long time. The Nine of Pentacles here makes me think of somebody who is very much able to take care of themselves and doesn't really depend on somebody else, but maybe actually just looking to see whether this other person is interested. The Three of Cups with all the other cards around, the Seven of Swords is one of them. The Five of Swords was at the back of the pack, makes me think that there is competition with regards to getting hold of your person or getting closer to the person that you're asking about. They may be already with somebody, or they may be just somebody who's very attractive, and a lot of people have their eye on this person. I'm not sure yet. I will go into it a little bit more. They're coming across up here as a shaman, which makes me think, and they're coming across as the Page of Swords down here. I'll show you the pictures because I think it means more when you can see the pictures. It makes me think that this person knows exactly what's going on. It's like an air of astuteness. I don't know if that is actually a word. The Page of Swords is on the top of the hill looking down, understanding and actually having a logical insight into the... Sorry. My son's going past the window making stupid noises. A logical insight into the situation as a whole. The shaman, again, makes me think of somebody who is quite grounded. Shamans just make me think of people that manipulate the material world with an understanding of the spiritual world. So this is what it feels like. Somebody who's used to this situation, who's been in it before. It does make me think of somebody that's very attractive, or somebody that has had a lot of people, I'm not saying a lot of partners, but a lot of people interested in them. I could be wrong. The Page of Swords is understanding it and seeing it from this perspective. There's an air of wiseness and there's an air of knowing here. Wiseness, I make these words up as I go along. You're coming along as, because you've got the Page of Cups up here for you and the Knight of Cups here. So you've got a real romantic air about you. There's an air of innocence. There's an air of enjoying falling for somebody. You know, somebody who looks for love in life in a proper romantic film way. A Neptune, Venus way. Somebody that falls for somebody head over heels and projects beauty onto them. I'm going to go a bit further. Let me just, don't judge yet where you think you both fall, but just let me run through it, just sound bossy, and then we'll pull it all together and see what comes out. You've also got the 5th house here, which once again goes with that Page of Cups, and that Knight of Cups has been quite a romantic, it's like somebody, it's like a school romance, somebody you've really fallen for, and you didn't, if you're older, you didn't expect to fall for somebody like this. This is the feeling that it's giving me. But the Saturn next to it, and this shaman card here, and that earthy feel that I get from the shaman, has got something to do with either time or having to... There's some problem with materialising this relationship. It's got something to do with time or circumstance or just making it real. Now, this is confusing me now because I've got that feeling that you may not have had a romance before, or I don't know what's happened, but with the Seven of Swords here, once again, an earthy feel with the King of Pentacles. The Seven of Swords makes me think there's something to do with your connection where one of you has walked off quickly. It's like it may be possibly a get-together where one has disappeared and left the other thinking, or somebody has come into a situation, there's been a connection, and one has left the other standing or not understanding. That's the feeling I'm getting. Could be your person. Because you're coming across very sweet-hearted. Your person's coming across as very practical and understanding of the situation and understanding of the world. This reminds me of somebody who works hard, doesn't overthink things, somebody who isn't particularly romantic but can see the, I'm not going to say use is the wrong word, but can see where relationships could fit into their life. Now, the cards behind the Fool and the Three of Cups, I wonder whether this relationship has sprung to life in some way in a group situation where there's always people around you, or whether your first introduction, the Fool always makes me think of love at first sight, or just basically, if this is subconscious, it's overexcitement. It's somebody you probably see, you didn't expect to fall for, and you've just clicked. You probably have clicked in a group situation, and there's that air of excitement, there's that air of feeling like, I don't feel like this very often. It's almost like you stumble over your words. Everything, the whole world, just the Saturn here, the whole world with the Fool down here speeds up. Everything moves fast. And you could have been together for an hour, but it would have felt like a few minutes. It's almost as if with people around you, you're not noticing anybody else. So your first connection would have been, I think, group situation, a feeling of excitement. And this person playing it very cool, I think. I'm not saying they weren't feeling the electricity, but with the shaman there is somebody who, do you know what I'm thinking? And this may be wrong. It makes me think that you two got together in a group situation. They're very balanced, and because you're coming across as more romantic, it's almost as if you've acted out of character to your normal self and maybe left a bit early with the Seven of Swords here and the Five of Swords here, or been slightly annoyed by the competition of other people around, or there's been an argument with regards to past girlfriends. There's different scenarios, but I'm wondering whether it's you with a Fool card down here in the Uranus field that's split early, that's walked out and left this person wondering, because they seem quite grounded, so there's a lack of understanding there, wondering why on earth you've moved away from them. It's like a self-protective move of getting yourself out of the group because you don't want to be seen as one of the many. This is what I feel at the moment, because there's an air of protectiveness here at the end with the Nine of Wands too. Okay. Should I let go of this? I start reading, I totally forget what the flipping question is. Should I let go of this relationship, or is there hope? The Two of Cups makes me think you have a connection that is different, because you're both coming from different perspectives. Your person's more grounded, you're more romantic, but there's almost as if you meet with a spark here with the Fool, with you both meet each other on an equal ground, but coming from different places. It makes me feel that your partner understands the relationship, understands what you want from the relationship, even if it's not been said, and understands what they can and they can't give. It makes me think that you're a little bit more dreamy, and the fact that you possibly are still at the stage where you want the relationship. Somebody wrote in the comments probably a day or two ago about the wanting is the most exciting bit, and I do think with the Page of Cups and the Knight of Cups, that romantic air of wanting is very much running away with you. It is like that dopamine kick of just wanting. And the Two of Cups is you both being exactly the same, both wanting, but for different reasons. The Seven of Wands here makes me think that you're fighting something back. The Three of Cups makes me think it's a group situation, or they've already got a partner, or you don't like Belonging to I don't get that. I mean, I said that you probably like to keep yourself separate from the group, and I'm looking for like Uranus or Leo cards where they don't like to feel like they fit in, or Leo likes to feel special and Uranus and Aquarius like to feel different. But I haven't got that on here. Why defensive? Why defensive? There could be, with the Justice card and the Page of Rods here, there could be family and children involved. So that I do get the feeling that one of you may be with somebody already. If it's not that, it's got something to do with fairness and a group situation, and maybe not being recognised, as we've said. I don't know. I'm still looking for these cards and I can't see them. And the end card is the Nine of Wands with the man in the swamp. I don't know what he's doing. In the swamp, looking and waiting and watching. It makes me feel as well, the Saturn card and the Shaman card here, and that card at the end, that your person is waiting and watching. Something has happened. It feels as if somebody's walked out on somebody. There's been some unfairness. With the Five of Swords at the bottom of the pack, one person may think that the other one's got one up. The Seven of Swords and the Five of Swords, a real spiky feel to them of somebody who feels, and the Justice card here, that something unjust has happened. There feels like a connection and a uncomfortable slight argument or a movement away that's left the other one feeling as if it's unfair. There's two ways that can go. Either a relationship that's going on, or three actually, a relationship that's going on already, a group situation where you don't want to feel like you're part of the sheep, or a spiky argument where one feels like they've been pushed out of the situation and looking to the other person to see what on earth happened. There's still defensiveness here, though, either way, whichever one. You've got Seven of Swords twice. You've got defensiveness, you've got holding your ground, you've got somebody, your person trying to overthink things. I know I said at the beginning they don't overthink, but they have got the Page of Swords here, and I've just seen the King of Swords here, so possibly, even if they don't overthink, there's definitely somebody, with the Page of Swords, somebody trying to look at this situation logically. It feels like no movement, a connection where you both realise the connection, you both feel the same. It feels romantic, but there's some Saturn there, there's some structure there, there's some organisation, or there's some relationship in the way. Do you know what it makes me think, to be honest? It feels like, with regards to the question being, should I let go or is there hope? To me, it feels like timing. It feels to me as if, how long do you, the situation that you're in now, knowing there's attraction there and it being felt on both sides, possibly being there, the excitement's there, but you possibly could be in a group situation. There may be family involved, and I'm wondering which side, I don't know. You're still feeling the romance. You're feeling romantic. You've got that air of rose tinted glasses about you, and the Page of Swords, this person understands it, they can see what's going on, they're trying to find a logical way forward because they can feel the attraction. But to me, this feels the Nine of Wands at the end, the Ten of Wands and the Seven of Cups, almost as if, with the Saturn there, are you content for it to be like this for a long period of time? It doesn't feel like movement to me, to be totally honest. It feels like, how long do you want to play this game for? And it's not your person's fault. It makes me feel like you could push each other to show your affections more, because you've got the Two of Cups here and you've got the fifth house here. This person sees you very similar to the way that you see them. I think your person may be more logical anyway, maybe more grounded anyway, but they still feel the same. And you could peck at each other to try and get a response to make you feel better. But to me, it feels this could run along a long time in the situation that it is at the moment, of an air of watching, an air of heaviness, and an air of not understanding where you fit in. There's the timing feel here. The feelings are there, the attraction's there, the excitement's there. Your person's more grounded and wants this to be practical. They would be saying, if I could move this forward, how would we do it? You're saying, I just want to be together. That's what it feels like. You both feel the attraction. They're thinking, how could this work in my life? You're thinking, just tonight. You're thinking, I'm just attracted to you. Let's see how it goes. Yours is less particular. Your feelings are less particular. Their feelings are wondering where it possibly can fit in with regards to the situation that you're both in at the moment. Yours is more romantic, theirs is definitely more grounded. And there's this feeling again of the Nine of Wands, watching, waiting, heaviness, wondering where you fit in, wondering where the situation's going, not understanding, an air of dreaminess, an air of what I would say illusion here. And with their Saturn there, it makes me feel like you can feel the attraction. You can feel the excitement. Is that enough for you? Because it just feels as if it's difficult to move forward, especially if this Justice card speaks of relationships, because you've got the Three of Cups here, the Seven of Wands, and Justice and Page of Wands here. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I'm just reading the cards. I'm trying to be really honest, to be honest, because because if I'm not, when you get a good pile for something or other, it means nothing. To me, it doesn't. So what do you want out of the situation? How much do you want to take? If this person or you are in a relationship with children, this could very much be your pal, and it's very much saying, the Nine of Wands, do you want to stay with what you've got now? Is it enough for you? Not enough for them, is it enough for you? Some of you may already be in a relationship with this person, and this may have something to do with the Seven of Swords and the Five of Swords. It could be a connection where you get together, you probably there's some physical contact, and then there's confusion afterwards. Because you've got the Lovers, you've got the Two of Wands and the Moon. The Two of Wands, especially in this pack, make me think of confusion, things not being totally out on the table, things not being straight. But definitely a connection there. And the Two of Cups here makes me think there's a connection there. So once again, it's making me think that the decision is yours. What do you want? What you have now, if it didn't go any further, are you happy with that? It feels like a love affair. It doesn't feel like a long-term relationship or somebody you've been married to and got back with. It feels like a romantic love affair where there possibly could be a connection here, where you've actually had physical contact with each other. I'm trying to be polite there. I mean, you've got the Lovers card here, that one of you could be married. It makes me feel like you're trying to pull out and be independent and say, well, I can carry on this. I don't need anybody. I'm an independent man. I'm an independent woman. And then it turns into romanticizing over, possibly thinking about them. And it could possibly, you've got the Two of Wands twice. It makes me think of things that don't get going as far as you think they should do. So I'm going to finish there, pile number one. Just to leave you with a thought is, what do you want? And if it didn't move forward from what you have now, is that enough for you? That's what I'm saying there. I'm sorry it's not really positive, but as I said earlier, I wanna Spice Girls. I want to read exactly what I can see rather than give you fancy. Because I don't think that's, I don't, when I get readings that are too fancy, I just cut off a little bit. I don't. I love watching other people's readings, and I love how they read the cards. But sometimes if it's too positive or too gushing, I'm like, I can't pull anything from it, because I tend to start glazing over a little bit. Okay, right, pile number one. I'm going to stop apologising. I'm going to leave you there. I hope that helps in some way. I'm going to leave you on a positive note. This to me is saying you've got a real sweet air about you, you've got a real innocence about you, and it's basically, what do you want out of the relationship? If it's not fulfilling you emotionally, if you're feeling like you're left behind, it may be probable, a good idea to start putting your feelers out elsewhere, to push yourself into different areas of life where you're not thinking about this person so much until they come to you a bit more. Until, especially if they're married, if they're in a marriage, that's probably really difficult. But until they actually open up to you a bit more, not because they're not interested, they're just looking at a practical solution. And not so bothered about the practicalities. You're more in love, for love's sake. Okay, pile number 1. Is that a bit better? I hope to see you again. I'm going to go now. Bye. Hi, pile number 2. Let's see what we've got for you. Right there, pile number 2. I'm not really sure where I'm going with this yet. I've just dealt the cards and all I was quite bamboozled by a feeling of what I would say in a real Aquarius air. And you've got Chiron here, and then you're coming across here as the Hangman, and you've got the 11th house here, which makes it even more Uranus-y than the star, the 11th house, the Fool, the King, and the Queen of Swords, and the King of Swords. There's something very airy about this pack, and there's something very spiritual about this pack. I don't know what I mean by spiritual. It's just a sense of healing, I think. You both give me a feeling of not being desperate. There's that feeling of you both recognising what you want from each other but not having to grab it. The Hangman there is just understanding, is just can see the situation. It makes me think of a grown-up Page of Swords. The Page of Swords who stands on the hill and looks down and can see the valley and understand everything. The Hangman here is very similar, but with a sense of more inner knowing. Not a very good sentence, but that's what I'm feeling. The star here has an air of detachment. It has an air of understanding as well, but an air of healing. What I'm thinking initially is that I'm going to say it from the beginning, which I shouldn't, because I think it's like saying the end of the story when you're starting. Should you let this relationship go? I don't think it really matters at the moment. I haven't looked at these cards here yet, but there's a feeling that whatever has happened or is about to happen has a real sense of karma, in the fact that you should be brought together anyway to go through things to heal each other in some way. I don't know what I'm talking about yet. That's the feeling I've got. It feels detached. It feels as if regardless of what happened, you could separate and still carry on. It's got a mature feeling of not needing. I haven't had this in many spreads. Let's go through your pile and see. You have got 2 major arcana for hopes and fears, and behind you you've got the Fool. So this, hopes and fears, the Magician, is trying to bring this into reality. It makes me think of people, and I've said this before in other spreads, an inner knowing and an inner understanding, the type of relationship where you've dreamt of this person before you've even met them, and when you see them you double take because you may think they're somebody famous, because that familiarity there. And then you're almost expectant and waiting for this relationship to flourish, because it just feels as if it's meant to, because you can feel it inside you. I don't know how to explain it. If you've ever met somebody, and I'm sure you all have, you've met somebody and you recognise them immediately, and if that's intermingled with attraction, it's really hard not to think that it's fated. It's really hard not to think there's some sort of karmic bond there, and there probably is. But I think that in any relationship, even like the baby you meet on the street, that type of thing. It's just sometimes we meet, nothing's by chance. And the Fool card here makes me think of consciousness. It makes me think that there's a conscious decision and understanding between the pair of you to keep moving forward. And even if you aren't together, I don't think with this spread it really matters. I know this is going to sound strange. I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to try and sum it up because I need to read the cards bit by bit. The King of Swords again has that really detached feeling of a man or a woman in this relationship that doesn't need anybody. Independent, understanding, giving. It's really difficult to explain this one, but you've also got the Lovers here as well, and with the Chiron there's some connection between the pair of you that is very detached but very strong. It's like a knowing and understanding. It's like an Eros South Node synastry contact, where the attraction's there and there's a really strong pull, and you may not be able to be together, but it's not as if you're going to risk anything to get there. Yeah, I know. I think you're both very similar. There's the King of Swords, there's the Queen of Swords. Doesn't matter whether you're the same sex. I think there's got something to do with the recognition of you both not needing to be over dramatic. You don't... So this is a really interesting part to me, but I'm finding it difficult to put into words because, okay, I've got to think of people I know like this. It's like a best friend. It's like somebody that talks. It's like somebody that communicates really well. It's like somebody that can possibly have sex, get up the next morning and walk away and not call for a couple of weeks. And neither of you are bothered. I've got quite a lot of airy friends, and one of them said to me, the best thing about you, this is really complimentary, is the fact that we don't contact each other very often, but when we do, it's as if, you know, it doesn't matter. It always just kicks off again. It's that type of thing. The Queen of Swords and the King of Swords together, people that don't need anything else outside themselves with regards to relationships. If you're really fiery, and I don't think you are with this person, I have a feeling that you would feel left out. You would feel as if they weren't moving fast enough. The Five of Pentacles, oh my God, what I just said, is a feeling of feeling left out. And the King of Cups makes me think that I wonder whether this person is going to reveal more emotion to you. I wonder whether you're being detached as well. They're coming across as being the Six of Pentacles. I read something on Rock Hudson once, who was, I think, quite Aquarius-y. Rock Hudson. I bet you loads of people won't know who he is. And he was quite distant. He was 50s actor, I don't know. He was gay and he just couldn't say it at that time because it just wasn't accepted at all. And he was like tall, dark and handsome, and always put together in these like really sort of feel-good films with Doris Day. And there was something about him, and I kind of think he's quite Aquarius. When his friend was dying, that he turned up by their bedside every day. This is what this... I get a feeling from your person. The Six of Pentacles here is somebody who doesn't ask a lot from you, but will give a lot. Will give a lot in practical ways, will always be there and always be the same. Doesn't demand, is not over dramatic. There's no Pluto feel in this one. It's not that sort of, we're going to go down in flames pile. It's respect and recognition, I feel. I feel that you're very similar. Your person probably may be more emotional slightly. You're coming across as being quite detached as well. And the end result is, it makes me think with the Magician card here and the Two of Pentacles here and the Fool behind, that you two can take this anywhere you want to take it. I didn't get the feeling in the first pile of, because I mean, you've got the Ace of Pentacles at the bottom of the pack. This pile is for both of your choosing. You're both got an understanding of what's going on already. I think you're both quite mature in the way that you look at things. There's an air of detachment about you. There's a passionate pull there, and there's excitement. Your person feels to me like somebody who's really giving, really sweet energy, but doesn't ask for a lot. And somebody said as well in one of the comments about an Aquarius moon, this is what it feels like. It feels like somebody with an Aquarius moon is quite happy to be left alone, but is also quite good at being there when people need them, even though they have a detached air about them. I think this suits you to the ground. It's as if with this Chiron here as well, that you connect really well. It almost makes me feel like somebody who has had either an abusive marriage, that's really dramatic really there, but somebody who's had demanding past relationships and could be possibly negatively demanding in some way, and then along comes this person. It's like a breath of fresh air, and you just are there, and you may be wondering, do I need more passion? Do I need to put them on a spot so that I make myself feel loved a bit more? You know, the type of thing when you do in your teenage years, when you basically go the other person to show you that they like you. There's nothing of that here. It may have crossed your mind, but there's a real passionate feel here, even with a detached air. Because you've got the Sagittarius card here, and this whole pile is exciting me because I can smell it, because I can feel an air of two people who go through life together, understanding each other but not demanding of each other. And I wonder if this relationship has just started recently, but it's got an air of, to me it feels beautiful. And all you fiery people are like, what are you on about? It just feels as if you don't need to talk to each other, you don't need to say anything, there's just understanding and awareness, and you're at the brink of what I would say of bringing this into reality. The Fool card here, the beginning of the pack behind you, the Magician card here for hopes and fears, and the Ace of Pentacles at the bottom of the pack makes me feel that this is something that is rumbling and you can make it whatever you want. The Two of Pentacles makes me think of playing with something in the mundane world. Next to the Magician, it's like, this is in your hands. What do you want to do? I love this pile. I don't think I'm explaining it very well, but I do like it. And yeah, Three of Pentacles here. Oops, sorry. Don't want that one, that can go. Three of Pentacles there would possibly be, I don't know what this one is either. I wonder whether that is wondering, where did my card go? I don't know. Three of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles. So if the Magician is trying to make things mundane, you're coming across here at the bottom as the Queen of Pentacles. I wonder whether you want something a little bit more. Whether you're used to things, but yeah, where did my card go now? I have no idea. I threw it away. With the Pentacle cards here, and you coming up as the Queen of Pentacles here, with the Three of Pentacles that I threw away, where's it gone? And the Five of Pentacles here, I wonder whether you are, at this moment, wondering where you fit into this relationship. And this, I would say, this may be saying, don't wonder too much, just accept it for what it is. Because you can almost, by not looking back and thinking, you know, do they find me attractive? You know, where are they? Why haven't they phoned me for a couple of weeks? It's almost as if that's the way that this relationship will keep on moving. Oh, there it is. I've burnt it. Collaboration. I wonder if there's actually physical distance between the pair of you as well. And the King of Wands and the Temperance makes me think of long distance. And the Star card here makes me think of distance. You know, it could be just COVID distance. It could be, you know, you can't actually get near each other. It could be physical distance, as in like countries apart, continents apart. This makes me just feel like a contact that you spend time together, and you know, even if you go through rough times together, I think by the end of the relationship you both feel as if you had matured in a, this sounds really boring, isn't it? You'd learnt from each other, you'd healed each other in some way. Because you both feel, to me, there's a similar air there of both feeling accepted. Okay. Pile number 2. I don't know if that is feel good or not feel good. To finish, as I did with pile number 1, because this is quite a hard spread to, I think it's hard to pull out totally positive, because, you know, the question is, should I let this relationship go, or should you hold out hope? With this one, I would say hold out hope, because you're learning from each other. You're both very similar. Even if you are having, with these pentacle cards here, a real need to make it more practical, and you possibly can't because there's distance here, there's some sort of separation. It's as if something's flourishing with the Ace of Pentacles here. You've got the Lovers card here. Even from somebody who's very detached or very airy, there's still that passionate feel. There's still that feeling there's a connection there, and that they possibly want more out of the relationship. I don't know if you've been together anyway already, but the ball's in your court with this one. Both of you, the ball's in your court. It's almost as if you are, through you, with the Magician card here, it's as, and these cards here are very understanding of how life is made, as if you, by thinking positively, by not going too much into this pentacle energy of wanting it to be totally mundane at the moment, you could still, yeah, with the Magician and the Two of Pentacles here, it's as if you could still, by being positive, make this relationship become a reality in the way that you want it to become a reality. You're like as if you're chugging down a tunnel, and on either side of this tunnel is the reality that you're making. And if it's negative, you're going to channel down a relationship tunnel where you don't really want to be. But if you carry on being positive, even if there's distance, you could possibly come out of the tunnel at the right stop. Okay, I'm going to finish there, pile number 2, and I'm going to change my battery. Thank you very much for spending time with me today, and I hope to see you again. Bye. Right then, pile number 3, this very much feels like a work attraction or a school attraction, or some situation that's quite practical or routine. It could even be attraction to do with a physical routine, like somebody you fancy at the gym. You've got the 6th house here, you've got Venus, which makes me think of these very mundane routine things that we do every day, like go to work, go to the gym, that type of thing where there's some beauty has entered your life. And I think this beauty is very physical, and the way that is very physical. There's some sort of physical attraction between the pair of you. The King of Wands and the Devil card. You've got the King of Wands card here. The King of Wands card likes life to be exciting. It likes life to be adventurous. It likes physical contact. It wants fun. It does not somebody who wants to overthink things. It's somebody who wants things to move. The Devil card here is a very physical card as well, but from a more negative viewpoint, almost as if they want the physicality of a relationship more than anything at this particular time and moment. So to me, it feels like a sexual pull in a mundane situation like work. Although your person's coming up as a devil here, they've come, well, the bottom of the pack is a Knight of Cups. So I'm wondering whether it started off as a really sweet connection that has gone haywire in some way, and there's a lot of fantasizing, a lot of obsessing, and there's a lot of sexual thoughts, maybe sexual contact, I don't know. The Justice card and the King of Pentacles also makes me think possibly that this relationship, one of you could be married. If it's not that, it could be something to do with people that work in law, or it could be something to do with balance and structure in practical matters in some way. But to me, with these cards up here, the Devil and the King of Wands, I'm thinking one of you may just be married. And at the back and the bottom here, the Ten of Cups, the Queen of Swords, you both may possibly be married. There are different scenarios, but I'm going to have to go back to that and think. Let me go through all the way through. Fairness to do with understanding, balance, mundane, maturity, family situations, emotions. Queen of Swords could possibly be, I'm not sure yet. I can't quite get the fact out of my head that one of you is married, to be honest. it makes me feel that there's commitments elsewhere, there's a romantic attraction, there's a physical attraction, something new has started, something new is moving where you've actually been, or you possibly are going to be in the near future, pushed together a little bit, and then that's when the communication is going to get started. You're coming out as a Three of Swords here, so something in this relationship is quite painful for you. What could be painful? I'm going to have to put extra. This is a hard pile. I have to put extra cards. I'll tell you what I'm thinking, and then you can see why it's hard. You may know why I'm doing it. Initially, you've got the Devil card here for your person, the King of Wands here. So that to me thinks of sexual attraction and fire and wanting a physical contact. The 6th house is a mundane situation. The Venus to me just sort of speaks of beauty and physical attraction, as I just said. The Knight of Cups at the bottom of the pack makes me think that this person has come to you with romantic intent, and then it's actually got a little bit out of control and it's turned more of a sexual pull. The Justice card and the King of Pentacles automatically makes me think that somebody here is married, or there's some commitment to do with a mundane situation where they are expected to provide in some way, and it could just be a work position. They've got to look mature. They've got to actually produce something like work or look like they're in control. The Justice card could have anything to do with balance in that situation, which could be a work situation again. The 6th house keeps coming up, so that's why I keep thinking work. It could be somebody in the gym in a routine situation you see every day, could be walking the dog, and they're trying to look smooth and calm. It does make me think, though, again, with a family situation, the Page of Pentacles, the Ten of Cups here, that there has got something to do with trying to keep some sort of austere air or an air of detachment to do with family and maturity and trying to put on that adult face. Page of Pentacles with the Ace of Swords, and this is what's coming into play. It's like a new beginning, as if things are going to start moving. There's going to be a connection there. You're going to be able to do something in reality where there's communication, but you're coming across as the Three of Swords and they're coming across as the Knight of Pentacles. The Chariot and the Queen of Swords behind makes me feel that with these sexy cards at the top, there's something running away with you both that doesn't feel quite you don't feel quite at ease with it. Because this lady here is, and the Page of King of Pentacles to some extent, is very controlled. They can see what's going on, but it's difficult. As if the Chariot is trying to pull a force together that you can't. There's two different forces. You're trying to pull them together. It doesn't quite feel right. It's got this out of control feeling here. It's like a sexual pull that feels slightly out of control. And you've got the Seven of Cans at the side here for my extra added information, which is something taken unfairly, which brings me back to this marriage situation that may be possible. The Eight of Buckets is somebody releasing somebody. It's the Eight of Cups where somebody walks away, and you've got the Death card. You've got the Knight of Pentacles here where this person's walking away. But the Two of Buckets is the Two of Cups, and there's no doubt here there's a connection here that feels really strong. The Death card at the end makes me think of change. So what I'm thinking, should you let this relationship go or should you hold out hope? If your person has somebody else, then there's always going to be that confusion there. And it also speaks of there being a connection there between the pair of you and it being very exciting. But I wonder whether it feels as if you don't understand where you... To me, this makes it feel as if there's somebody else in this relationship. Because your person is almost saying, with this Knight of Pentacles here, with a back turned towards the rest of the spread, that what can they do? I can't get it out of my head on this one. And because you're coming up, I'm trying to explain why I get to these decisions. You're coming up as the Three of Swords, so this relationship feels quite painful. It's not going to apply to everybody, but this is quite a I suppose it's just going down one rabbit hole, isn't it? But this is what it feels quite strong to me. The Three of Swords is painful. The Knight of Pentacles is walking away from a situation. The Death and the Rebirth at the end with the Queen of Cups and the Moon is, I would say, confusion with regards to the other person in the relationship. It just feels to me like a not a love relationship, a sexual pull in a very mundane situation where you come across each other quite often. You can feel the attraction. There's a real sexual pull there. They're struggling with it because they may be committed elsewhere, or you may be committed elsewhere. Everything is going. I think the relationship's actually going to pick up. But it's going to cause discomfort because of these cards down here for you both, and that Chariot card with that sort of, or detached card behind there, as if you both feel the passion, you both feel the pull, and you're trying to pull it down a track where you think you can contain it and maintain it, and it's going to eventually prey on your inner sense of calm or justice. If somebody else is in a relationship here. You have 7 of Swords twice. There's something that I think in this relationship that feels quite deceitful. There's a romantic beginning. There's a physical attraction. And I think this relationship is beginning to stew again if it hasn't been. I don't get the feeling. I don't know. It makes me just feel of two people who are very attracted to each other. And it feels as if it's going to move forward, but almost with a feeling of, where can we go with it anyway? If there are other people in this relationship, I would say it's going to feel extremely confusing. So with regards to the question, should I let this relationship go or should I hold on? Bit like pile number 1, you can keep this relationship going to feed off the attraction that this person feels for you, which feels good. But if you feel that you're going to get to the point where you want more, where you want commitment from this person, where you want this person to, if they're in a relationship, to get out of that relationship, that's where it's going to stop being fun. That's where it's going to feel like you don't know what's going to happen next. Because you're coming up as the Three of Swords down here, they're coming up as turning their back, and then you've got the Death card here, which is the end of the situation, with confusion to do with somebody else, I guess, is in this relationship. And for you to get closer together, it makes me think that there has to be some sort of sneaky action. You've got the Two of Cups here, and you've got the 7 of Swords twice, and then the 8 of Buckets, which is walking away. The 7 of Swords is, I don't like the 7 of Swords. It stinks. It's a card of, the only positive spin I can put on that is to take a different tack to make it work. But it's something, as you can see by this card here, which it always takes a bit of a sarky view. It's taking something that isn't yours. When I'm getting this feeling down here of marriage. Okay, let me put some more cards on here. Yeah, this basically sums it all up. I'm putting these out because I like to try and finish on a positive note. I'm putting these out to look at the best case scenario for the people watching this spread. If this actually rings true and your person or you are already taken in some way, and I don't actually agree with the word taken because I'm trying not to say something that other people think is offensive, but we're all born on our own. And regardless of, what happens, it's what internally you feel is correct. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to go there because I've had different views possibly. But I'm going to leave that one there. The 6 of Wands, the Knight of Wands very much makes me think here that the physical attraction is huge and it makes you both feel good. That's what it's almost like, running along on that, and it's just the excitement of it, which feels fantastic. It's feeling alive again, and it's feeling admired, and it just basically feels fantastic. The Ten of Wands, to me, sums up this last pile here. It's the heaviness with it as well. It's as if you want to feel more of the attraction, but you know that it's going to be quite heavy going. For something there, there's a blockage there. And I'm wondering here, the Justice and the King of Pentacles and these Ten of Cups here, whether this person or you are already in a relationship, because you've got the Seven of Spray Cans twice, which is the Seven of Swords, and that's taking something unfairly, even though the attraction is huge, and it just feels good to be near them. It feels good to possibly get a text from them. It feels good to see them, because there's not many times in your life that you meet somebody that you're that attracted to and it's actually reciprocated, and it just feels fantastic. But I do feel that it's going to be hard going. So answer the question, should I let this relationship go, or should I hold out hope? I would say, if this person is with somebody or you're with somebody, it's going to be hard going. So it is going to feel hard to you, and you're always going to feel like you're trying to pull two things together and you're knocking your head against a brick wall. If there isn't commitment here, whether there are the different scenarios of possibly the King of Pentacles, somebody who is, I still think it's a work situation. Whether there's some sort of blockage here where you can't show your feelings in work. The Pentacles card here and the Justice card here and the Page of Pentacles. You know, whether you can't show your feelings because of a work situation or because other people, it's just not correct to show it. I still get a feeling of difficulty with this one. I still get a feeling of difficulty. It may be that it could be a case of biding your time for the moment, although I do think this relationship is going to flourish in the near future. Your cards are still coming out as quite negative, I would say, with regards to where this relationship's going. So I would say bide your time for the moment and see what develops. And if your person isn't taken, I was going to say, and if you're, do you know what I'm thinking here? If your person's not taken, these cards here could almost make me think that you could get slightly miffed off with the fact that it could be just sex, somebody, you know, having sexual contact and then moving the Chariot card as well and moving off. It could be either way. To me, the commitments elsewhere feel stronger, but it could be just a sexual pull where there's no other commitment there. It's like sex, move off, oh, see each other again, sex, move off, that type of thing. And that, although the attraction feels good, and it feels good while you're there at the time, there's still that heavy feeling. So I would say, I would hold your ground on this one. Don't give too much of yourself. See how it plays out. If those two scenarios feel right and it doesn't feel right to you, if you are with somebody having physical contact and not much else, and that keeps repeating itself, it might be a message to say, you know, that's not really what I need. If it's not what you need, it might be fine for you. I don't know. If this person's taken, if you're in a relationship or they're in a relationship, and you just doesn't feel, it feels like you're treading water all the time and getting nowhere, it may be just a good idea just to pull back as well, because it just feels the confusion is still there in the future. So if you know that, then it might help you make a decision. All right, then I'm going to leave that there. That's hard going. Well, thank you very much for spending time with me today, and I hope to see you again. Bye.